Where do you think they're coming from? I know youth is a big push for a lot of people because that's their future, right? But some people struggle with it. Where do you think that you've been able to get them from?
I think a lot of that is my marketing people at Bowling Alley Marketing when they get the word out.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you for the shout out.
I'm just saying because I've never been able to do that. I've always
Mhm,
tried, always thought I could. I'm good at some things, but I no. I've just come to realize that I'm not. So let the
mhm,
people who know how to do it better. And I
mhm,
mean that's just everything I've learned from being in the community. In the beginning, I knew a gentleman who was on our association. His name was Mike Italia, and he used to say to me, "Got to go to Bowl Expo. Got to go to Bowl Expo. Got to get in the BPAA, Renee. And I'm like, okay. And I listened to him, and I went to my first Bowl Expo just in awe, just
mhm.
fascinated with the people and how they want to help you, how they have such good ideas. And I get it. Like what works in Florida doesn't work in Pennsylvania because of our seasonal weather.
Mhm.
We just we like I said, Saturday was beautiful, so it wasn't a good
Mhm.
day in the bowling alley.
Right.
Rain dance didn't work that day. You try, but it
Mhm.
didn't work. So it's hard.
Mhm.
It was a slow day, but they still have good ideas that can work. Their tournaments or whatever they have. It's great. And the smart buy programs are they're just amazing. I,
Yeah.
I they do all your negotiating for you. I mean,
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
no-brainer. They do.
Right.
They
It
do
pays
all your
for the whole program, for your all your dues, just the
exactly,
Pepsi alone.
exactly. Oh my gosh, yes. My first check pays for that and some. Pays for
Mhm.
my dues. They negotiate your credit card one is the best because they would always go. I deal with four other banks because of my husband's rental properties, and
Mm,
he was like, they always want my credit card business.
of
Oh,
course.
yeah, and I give them my numbers, and they go, "We can't match that."
Call me when you can.
Sorry.
Mhm.
So it's kind of that was great too, and to learn, and you really get a lot of friendship outside
Mm.
of Pennsylvania. You look
Yeah.
forward to seeing them now every year at Bowl Expo and hanging out or having dinner. It's and talking about things that work and what didn't
Mhm.
work. I mean, everything we tried didn't work. I mean, some of the short term leagues don't work at my place, and I don't know why because
Mm.
they seem to be successful in other
Right.
places. But my term leagues are working, so I
Mm.
just go with that. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
why
what
not? Less
works.
hassle for you. Mm.
It is, but it's worth the hassle. Every bit of it is worth the hassle.
Mm.
So the big thing I always say is my husband, who had 16 rental properties, my husband who doesn't bowl, he doesn't drink, but he put up six of his rental properties in collateral so I could buy my bowling alley. And I'll
Mm.
just never
Yeah.
forget the look on his face when I said, I want to buy a bowling alley because I'm not an accountant that doesn't take risk. And he's like, you what? I'm like, I want to buy a bowling alley, honey. Please. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Right.
It's,
You knew you had it in you.
I just knew. I can't, even just with running the numbers, there was something inside of me that said, you know how to do this. You can
Mhm.
make these numbers grow. And we've tripled the revenue there and then
Mhm.
some, just since we bought
Mm.
it. But I always say that's not the successful part. You can increase your revenue, you can increase your prices, and
Right.
that'll increase your revenue. But we've increased our net income by percentages that
Mm.
just are crazy. And that's the accountant in me that gets into the books and starts
Yeah.
not cutting costs where you give up quality, but
Right.
you look for utility contracts, you look for anything that you can do to try to cut down on some of the costs that still keep your customers very happy.
Let's stay there actually a little bit. What are some ways or some spots that you've looked for, or maybe what's a framework you look for of where do I think I can cut costs? I think that'd be really helpful for some people, especially someone of your background.
Well, I go through my income statement and I look
Hmm.
at my expenses and I just start from the top and I start looking down. Of course, the first one on there is advertising. And that's one I will admit, I used to try to cut that one. But I've also learned too, you got to do the right kind of advertising.
Right.
And some things you can get the coupons and you can get the people in my center. Anyway, I'll talk about mine, but they're not continual customers. They're coupon chasers. They're only going to come
Right.
in with a coupon and you're never going to see them again.
Hmm.
It's okay, but that's not that's not advertising. That's just giving away something.
Discounting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all that is. So, but I start there and I just go down the income statement and the bank service cheap charges with credit cards and stuff like that. You just start going down. There's certain things you can't do anything about. Depreciation is depreciation, but that you can also work out too, because when you make a major improvement, like we put in laser tag in 2006 when we
Hmm.
took over the space, because to our dismay, when we were negotiating buying the place, she put in a tenant over there and it did not work out very well. The tenant didn't last long. It's even in the bowling world, you could be a bowler and not be good at running a bowling center. You could be a hairdresser and not be good at running your own salon. And that's
Right.
what
Yeah.
happened.
Okay.
So we took it over and put laser tag in. So in that one, there's certain items you can think about depreciating. And of course, we depreciated all that gets depreciated, which is
Yeah.
great because that's a no cash expense that helps your net. It lowers your net income for tax purposes, which is great.
Right.
So then you go through a lot of anything else you think you can look at. You got food expense. Look at your vendors. The Cisco contracts are great. They have other vendors out there, and your food and beverages, anything there. I've tried to see where one vendor or something might be better from a different vendor. You just kind of
Mm-hmm.
you got to research it. It's a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
time, but it's worth it, I think, in the
Oh
end.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you just
Especially if you're doing a lot of volume on it.
right. But I think the hard thing is with me, I mean, I have my financial statements at my fingertips because of being an
Hmm.
accountant. And I know that's an added thing that I have. Not everybody has that. And I've talked to people at Bowl Expo because they
Yeah.
talked about their disgruntled accountant. Sorry, I can't help you
Yeah.
with
Or what's an income statement?
it. Yes. And I get it. But just go through your bills. Just if
Mhm.
you don't have an income statement, just go through your paid invoice file because
Yeah.
that's a good way to see what you're paying or your bank
Mhm.
statement as well, what goes out of it automatically. And there's some good utility contracts that I was able to do with gas and
Mhm.
electric was one of our biggest utilities and trash. I've been through 4 trash vendors till I finally found the right one. Trial and error.
Yeah.
It really was. So yeah, that's kind of how I try to look at my net income. It's been a challenge because payroll's going up because I have to employ more
Right.
people. It's a no brainer.